Goeiedag. Good day, fellow South Africans. I want you to meet my dog Bonsai. This is the one that does the heavy breathing exercises and stuff like that. He's a beautiful old Jack Russell. As you can see, he's got a lot of grey around the face, haven't you, Bonsai? Yep, he's my mate, okay? And he gives me little kisses all the time. Don't you, Bonsai? Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? Anyway, I just wanted you to meet the dog behind the heavy breathing you sometimes hear on the video. When he gets excited, he starts licking stuff, and there goes the breathing. And this is the one that you hear barking from time to time. So, Bonsai, say hello to everyone. Oh, look at that. Hello, Daddy. Look, Daddy. Look. Okay, I'm going to let him go. Now, I love my dog. I've got chooks as well. But I wanted to share with you an audio clip from the Institute of Race Relations where they're talking about what is going on in South Africa and this whole issue with expropriation of land without compensation. And the travesty of what's going on behind the scenes. I'm going to say no more than that. Please have a lovely day, and remember to subscribe to be kept informed, and take care. Bye for now.
What South Africa's farmers face today is therefore not about poverty or public pressure or even land itself. They've been swept up in a far deeper political and ideological conflict, the battle of ideas over whether South Africa will survive as a free, modern and open society, or whether it will sink into a socialist and later communist morass of poverty, oppression and state control. It is no exaggeration to say that what we face today is a battle for the very survival of the Judeo-Christian ethic in southern Africa. And what farmers face and what will happen to them is very much the litmus test of who will win that battle, meaning that given what is at stake, that in many respects all South Africans are commercial farmers today. For the time being, however, farmers will remain very much on the sharp end of that battle, given the extent to which a decade of virtually unchallenged, hate-filled, racist rhetoric and propaganda and falsehood has been directed against them and what they represent, that they stole the land, that they abuse their workers, that they refuse to work towards a better South Africa. Have no doubt that the propaganda was intentional, to so stigmatize farmers that no one would dare to come to their defense when the government inevitably turned on them and used their case to erode property rights, not just with respect to land, but across the economy. It was a terrible mistake, therefore, for the agricultural industry not to challenge the propaganda, just as it was a terrible mistake to dismiss the post-2007 policy pattern and the ideology that underpinned it. All were parallel and related processes designed to checkmate the industry into negotiating the terms of its own demise within frames of reference set by its ideological opponents, a process from which you can draw a direct line to Mr. Ramaphosa's announcements last week. As you break down the myths and the falsehoods, you realize that EWC is not about land at all, but about four other things. It is first an incompetent attempt to outmaneuver the EFF on land, but that has backfired spectacularly, with the EWC issue creating new and previously undreamed of political platforms for the EFF, such as their virtual chairing of the public land hearings, although we have ever more reason to believe that the two parties are working hand in glove towards their later reunification. The second is an attempt to extend as a general principle of law the idea of a regulatory or custodial taking, and thereby eroding property rights generally, something that can succeed minus a constitutional amendment. Land is just the thin end of the wedge, as the current NHI policy proposal reveals. The third is to try and unite the tripartite alliance. Unity is a greater policy priority for the ANC than reform, and to unite a political movement you need an enemy, and the years of mostly unchallenged political and media propaganda directed against commercial farmers has allowed the government to portray them today as an enemy of the people. The fourth is to open the way to the erosion of civil rights broadly, given the likely future threats to the ruling party's political hegemony, and given that property rights anchor human liberty in all free societies. Step by step, the components of a downward economic, social, and political spiral are assembled and set into motion. Whether these dangers can be countered and later reversed depends on one thing alone: the future trajectory of South Africa's battle of ideas. Battle of ideas theory, in which we are much practiced, holds that the winner of any public policy struggle will ultimately be the side that injects the greatest volume of compelling argument into the public domain. Hence, farmers' current predicament at the end of a decade of virtually unanswered public stigmatization.